The Weir Tyne Derby is no mere game. One of the most passionate rivalries in football is found right here in the North East.
Newcastle and Sunderland, a football civil war.
You're going into battle against your arch rivals.
Shearer! It is hostile, it can become nasty at times.
The hatred and the abuse is something to behold, you know.
Just for that 90 minutes, I hate anything on a red and white shirt on that pitch.
It's the foul!
The atmosphere is electric.
You get that little bit of extra from somewhere else. Someone can become a hero. Someone can become a villain.
Hit by Xhaka, what a goal!
I had many rivals as well in my career, but I think this one will be the biggest.
Forever locked in competition, it's a matter of pride.
It's the be-all and end-all football up here.
It means everything.
You grow up with an awareness of these two giants in the North East.
The two grounds are 12 miles apart, so they're dead close to each other.
Although we complement each other in many ways as a region, we couldn't be more different.
I think Geordies are down to earth, hard-working, and love their football club with such passion.
We're a working class city and I feel like the club sort of reflects that.
The word Mackem, it kind of invokes feelings of hard working, to be passionate, to be proud.
Alors, je crois que ça fait partie de l'identité de Sunderland. Hein.
Do you want to be the best in the North East? Do you want to have them bragging rights?
The hatred's always been there. And it's not so much that we hate them, it's how much they hate us.
If you say the word Newcastle, I had an extra 50p in the meter. Even Newcastle itself have a different accent. Are you coming away with what? You know, that sounds rough and awful, doesn't it?
Nobody can understand what they're talking about. You know, it's just a horrible, horrible accent.
We're just, in a nice way, crackpots up here. We just love football. We love our club.
The rivalry does get very fierce, and I feel like that runs so deeply.
The rivalry between Sunderland and Newcastle goes back beyond football.
The North East was a place of shipbuilding and coal mining. But here in Newcastle, you had political power. We were the place when the king came, or the queen, this is where they came.
It goes back to when Newcastle and Sunderland were on different sides of the Civil War. Because Newcastle had a royal charter, they backed the king, and Sunderland backed the parliamentary side, which actually led to battles and bloodshed. After the Civil War, you have the emergence of shipbuilding businesses on both the River Wear and the River Tyne, so they were competitors in industry. Newcastle always seemed to have the upper hand economically.
This is where there was a confluence of economic, social, community power, and Sunderland wasn't. Newcastle is a city that deals in excellence, and Alan Shearer means excellence.
He just epitomises a number 9. He genuinely could score every single type of goal.
When you look at the record books now and you see his name right at the top near enough of every list.
He is Newcastle's record goal scorer. He is the local hero.
Alan Shearer was the best in the world, and he could have gone anywhere, and he came home.
I think you always feel a sense of responsibility when you're the local boy playing for your local team.
The Wearsiders have beaten the Tynesiders here at St James's Park.
How are you?
Not bad, I've been better.
Yeah.
I've been better.
We are at the Stadium of Light for the 126th Tyne Weir derby. Alan Shearer, well, he won't be tasting another Tyne Weir derby after this one.
I was aware that it was going to be my last Sunderland-Newcastle game, but it wasn't meant to be my last game in professional football.
In by Whitehead, and a goal!
The first half performance was nowhere near what it should have been. We were actually getting beaten 1-0 at half-time, but then the second half, everything changed.
Oh, he's let it go! Oh, what a mistake! It's a penalty for Newcastle United.
I'd waited years to get a penalty, and I'd practiced leading up to the game. I was under huge pressure to score the penalty. You've got a sense that you're playing for so much more. And I remember the feeling running to the crowd and the Newcastle fans going mad.
It was fate and it was destiny.
That is just poetry in motion.
And all the people behind that goal, which was one, will never forget that ever.
And that was my last ever touch of a football in professional football, because a minute or two later I did my knee and never played professional football again. If you believe in fate, then it was meant to happen. My last ever touch of a ball was against Sunderland, scoring a goal and winning 4-1. Not a bad ending.
Most of the time we've had a much better football team than Sunderland over the last few decades, and they're the biggest team in Sunderland, and they always will be.
Sunderland is seen to outsiders as the weaker of the two.
We are the underdogs, and I think Sunderland fans recognise that. But last time we were competing in the same league, we had such a good record against Newcastle United. We just had something over them where they couldn't beat us.
We did not lose in that period in 6 games. To do that in that fixture was massive.
Vaughan.
6 in a row. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, it's a magnificent strike!
But that's what this fixture does. It brings out iconic moments. It's the bragging rights, the ability to say that we beat you, we got one over on you.
Sunderland in front! Barini!
If you have a moment in one of these games, you'll go down in folklore forever.
Barini with the celebration.
It's Barini! He scores! Sunderland take the honours. Wearside inflicts tears on Tyneside.
We lose to them, we're all upset for months.
Over the last 3 seasons, Sunderland have been in a seemingly never-ending battle against relegation. But there's been one constant: victory over Newcastle United.
We wouldn't care if we lost 10 games as long as we beat them.
There was a ball pumped forward and then it was sort of like headed back up in the air.
It was just like slow motion. As soon as I made contact, I knew it was a goal.
The goal! What a goal!
I just got this rush and the roof just come off the stadium.
There was enough energy in that stadium to run a nuclear reactor, for heaven's sake. It was just mental.
I'd already painted all these pictures in my mind, like scoring. So I put that so much pressure on myself. And then when it happened, I was just like crying, I got emotional. Because it was such a big game, even trying to find words to express how much it means, it's difficult.
Cette ferveur et cette capacité de notre public à vibrer avec les événements du terrain.
The Stadium of Light and the Sunderland fans brought them to tears.
Cabal for Fletcher! The most successful string of wins in Weir Tyne derby history. 6 in a row.
That idea of a sleeping giant waking up has really developed. We are a great city and can hold our own against even our fiercest rival.
Sunderland Newcastle game in the Premier League. You know, last time it happened was 9 years ago. Oh man, it's going to be electric.
I'm not going to be able to sleep for like probably 3 weeks beforehand. For me, it's just hugely stressful.
I'll have no nails. It's just so nerve-wracking.
You're holding a lot of people's aims and dreams in your hands. It's a thing really that you have to know the consequences of.
You'll see respectable men and women in professional occupations behave like demented maniacs, it feels dangerous.
Everyone in the Northeast will be watching. Every single pub in the city centres will be packed.
We've got one of, if not the best midfield in the Premier League, in Joe Linton, Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes.
You run and you tackle, you fight, you show that it means a lot for you, represent the badge.
Dan Burn is a colossus.
I do feel like that we've got the squad and the characters this time to be more than a match for them physically.
Dan Ballard is already a Sunderland legend.
Enzo Lafay with his trickery. Granit Xhaka, granite by name, granite by nature, innit? Solid rock in the middle.
Let's try to give the fans, the club, something big. We have one objective, and it's to win the game.
If you can get the winning goal, you automatically become a hero.
Walk downtown, can't stop to talk. You got a one-track mind, but I'm not that sort.
Football in the Northeast is their life, and they certainly live for this game.
It means so much because it's our area, it's our club.
We make no sense, but I still follow you.
Being a Geordie, being a Mackem, that identity runs so deep.
It's always us against the world, and I really love that.
You're part of a passionate community, united together with one objective.